where the department should be heading in terms of like successfulness, in terms of like professionalism, and in terms of being like a holistic student, which definitely includes diversity and inclusion efforts.
Gratified Grad. I'm Letitia, and in today's video, I am drinking some Turmeric-Ginger Tea. This is a homemade tea. So like I got ginger powder and turmeric powder with some lemon and some honey, and I mix it up here. I have my wooden spoon to keep stirring it. So y'all see, I also got some cinnamon in there. I don't know if y'all see those like dark spots in there. That's cinnamon in there brewing too. And some benefits of this tea is, I'm just gonna speak to the turmeric, but it's known to help with joint stiffness as well as inflammation. So it's in the process of being looked into as to whether or not turmeric can be effective for arthritis. But I mean, even if the benefits aren't there, it's still like a tasty tea. And I'm going to let my guest introduce herself and her tea.
And my tea. Yes, I am Cierra Chandler. I'm going into my second year of grad school at Penn State in material science and engineering. And today I have some basic green tea. It's actually not so basic. It has jade citrus mint. My mom gave it to me. I would not normally reach for this because I don't like mint tea, but today is the day.
You don't like mint tea?
I do not. I'm more of a fruity, citrusy part. So the citrus is cool today, but the mint is not something that I usually like. And I usually just drink it plain, like no sugar, just nothing, just like the tea bag itself. And kind of like Letitia today, I usually put some turmeric, but not today because the mint would have like messed things up. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. So what initiatives did you take on? Was there like a diversity committee or?
Yes. This is actually a really great question because I think, okay, I'm going to like give a backstory to how this happened. So when George Floyd was murdered, and it was, and all the Breonna Taylor, all these, yet another, resurgence of people feeling like Black lives finally matter. I don't know. It was like people at the university were sending out these statements and all these things, and the department sent like, excuse me, a blanket, like email. And really, I didn't read it because there's nothing you could say in email to like make me feel like you actually cared. And like if it went like a mass email, like that doesn't hit me. I don't feel it. I don't even see your face to feel it. Like there's not words. Those words cannot convey enough emotion to what like tragedy, like Black people, like Black lives feel every day. There was no acknowledgement, and I felt isolated in my department. And I remember like reaching out to you, Letitia. I was like, hey, like, did anyone say or reach out to you, like from your group, from your department? Because in my group, no one had reached out to me, and in my department, no one had reached out to me either. And for there to be only like 4 Black people, now if you're including the faculty, there's 6 Black people. Maybe they were thinking like, okay, we can like sweep it under the rug. It doesn't affect like a large amount of our department. This blanket statement is enough. They didn't say anything, like, so our silence was like compliance, I guess. Like we were complicit in that, thinking that it was okay. My friend, I texted him and I was like, did anyone like reach out to you? And he was like, yeah, like I was so surprised. I was so surprised because his group, like his advisor watched the 13th on Netflix. And all of a sudden he was like, wow, this is a problem. And he wanted to have a conversation. And I know I said that sarcastically because that's more than what was being done beforehand. Like there was acknowledgement of a problem, but it was just kind of, So he emailed his group and said, "Hey, we should have a conversation about this. This is actually a really big problem. I'm just learning about this, but I want to talk about this." And I replied to him, he was like, "Yes, because I think this is important, and because there are students in our department that think that people don't care. They don't care about them. They don't care about their lives. It just doesn't matter." And he was like, "Yeah, because like I know that like it's Cierra. Like she feels like she's not seen. Like her blackness isn't appreciated, like she's just here." Like, and I was going through meetings, like project meetings, like people asking me like, "How are you?" What do you want me to say? Like
Yeah, that question is just infamous.
I'm still like doing the emotional work of like changing myself, my emotional state to make other people comfortable, because I know they're not comfortable dealing with my race and all it brings to the table, because that's just what we have to do as people of color and specifically Black people. And it was exhausting. So he had like, he kind of facilitated. I'm really grateful to Alex. He facilitated like including me in this discussion. It blew up into a larger thing. My advisor, who also is Black, who I'm grateful for that. I think he was also going through it and like on another level too, because I think at the end of the day, what was happening was that professionalism was denying people like to like still be human. Like they were like they felt like they couldn't reach, I don't know, I'm assuming, let's just like say this is what these people wanted to do, that they couldn't reach out to students of color, specifically Black students, because it was uncomfortable and it might not be deemed professional. And we're professionals when we want to be, and I'm not going to do that. So that's what happened. That's what I'm thinking happened. And we were like, that's not okay. That's just not okay. Like people bring white students, bring their whole selves, everything that comes with it, to the department, to the office every day, and I have to change myself every day to make other people comfortable, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting on top of like doing research. Nevertheless, we had this discussion, and it was great. Uh, it was good, I guess. It was good because it's actually kind of eye-opening because there were faculty there that were saying like, wow, like I've been here so long and I did not know this was a problem. I didn't know it was a problem. They said that they didn't know it was a problem. And I don't know whose problem that is. It's not my problem. It's not my problem. But that just, because is it the system's problem that you were able to get, like, to not know that this was a problem? Is it like, I don't know. Why were you able to continue 20 plus years feeling like institution, like racism in academia at least is not a problem?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it blew me. It blew me. But now they're like, they have this strategic plan that they're doing. And they finally are trying to be transparent about diversity efforts that they're trying to implement on the graduate level, on the undergraduate level, open and candid discussions with students in MATC about, I guess, race, and how we feel in the department, because there wasn't a place to talk about those things. And now there is going to be like a council now for students, graduate students in our department, that directly talk to the faculty and staff. And faculty and staff, they're two different things, two different levels. They have different motivations as well. So that's important. Now I think in general what's happening is that there's more transparency and more help, asking for help from graduate students and students in general, and how the department feels that or like where the department should be heading in terms of like successfulness, in terms of like professionalism, and in terms of being like a holistic student, which definitely includes diversity and inclusion efforts. There's no way now, no way you can tell me that becoming a professional in this society does not include diversity and inclusion efforts at all. Like, there's no excuse. There's no excuse at this point. Like, it's important, and the fact that it has been that we, like, it's not an essential part of our job, to acknowledge these things, and not, and use them as tools to, like, I don't know, to benefit, like, our research and just like general efforts, is really saddening. Like, that could be seen for disabilities. Obviously, we know, like, sexism, like, people, like, sexism, and, like, obviously race. But it's just really sad. So I think, I'm kind of optimistic. I don't know if I should be optimistic, but I'm kind of optimistic that, with continued efforts, it's gonna be exhausting. It's just exhausting. Listen, you know it's exhausting because, like you said, like, the first day you got here, even before you got here, you were doing the diversity work, and that's just a task that is just there. Hopefully, in the future, like, you don't have, like, other students of color, Black students, don't have to feel that way. I think that's what we're doing it. Like, you don't have to feel like future students shouldn't have to feel that way. That's why we do. Like, that's why we fight the hard fight, I guess. Do the dirty work.
And it is. And that's part of the reason why I have this YouTube channel, right? Is to show that we can be human beings. We don't have to live in this space where everything about our lives revolves around one aspect of our life. I just think that being that holistic student is what is important and what we need to focus our attention on, instead of the fact that they want to kind of box us into these different boxes when we are the creators of that, and we decide where we want to go in life, not someone else. So that makes me wonder, how has your participation in these different organizations and in these different conversations, has that aided in your ability to do your science, like in your process of understanding science or being professional in the science world?
And I mean, currently, right now, I'm, like, trying to study for my candidacy, and it is, I know the world's burning, um, and everyone's going through things, but this extra layer is 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 like, I want to, like, I want to do the work. I just, at this point, like, I don't think I know I have the choice to participate in these things, and I could be like, no, I don't want to do this. I just want to purely do my science, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Excuse me. I could do that. And if I took this time away to, like, focus on my candidacy, I would feel like I would miss opportunities to, like, I don't know, really, like, do good work. Like, this conversation that we're having in my department, and, like, I don't know, I guess in the university level, like, it's important, and I don't want to miss that. I don't want to, like, take time away and be like, let me just focus on this science, and then I miss something. Like, I just don't want to do that. I don't know. So maybe, like, I'm self-burdening myself, I guess. I don't know if that's a term, or adding another layer of work that I have to do. I feel like I need to do. But that's what I'm doing. And right now, in terms of studying for my candidacy, I do not think it's helping at all. But in terms of, like, interfacing with people who, like, make decisions, who have made decisions in the past and are actively making decisions in the past and are very, like, resourceful, I think that's where I'm benefiting from. Yeah, because at this point, like, no, I don't think I'm just doing science.
Yeah, my father and I, we had a conversation about my participation in things that are going on, such as the protests and going and speaking out, especially being that I'm the Black Graduate Student Association president, right? And I had to come to terms with myself and for myself that I don't have the energy to put my efforts towards that. I am nearing the end of my program. I I want to have because I like I said, and we've also talked about like I've always done the diversity work in the way that I feel I can do it most effectively. So I do grapple with that, you know, like I'm here for the science, I'm here to get my degree, but then also there is the participation so that it can be better for the people who are coming in behind me. And then the second thing that came to mind as you were talking is that we are in front of people who make these decisions. Being graduate students is really important too.
I think what you said is really important about like your role in this like advocacy, like the pro-Black movement, because I also struggled with like how can I help? Like I just don't think that everyone can do everything. Like as long as you're doing something, that's what I'm saying. As long as you're doing something, is what I feel is important. Not like, oh, you weren't in, like, you didn't go to this protest the last 3 weeks. I struggle with that because I also felt guilty. Like, I did not go to the protest. I just didn't feel like I could serve, like, that's the best utilization of me, like, in this movement. It's not how I want to like put my energy into in terms of progressing this advocacy work. It's just something that is just not for like I'm not going to do it, but I appreciate people who do that. I just make sure that I'm intentional with making sure I do my advocacy elsewhere. And we're going to keep it real. We know like the real reason, like I feel like the real way to like make people listen is to like, yeah, you could be in the streets, you know, protesting. We appreciate. Now you're bringing like it to the forefront. The next stage is like to hit their pockets and not just be like, oh, I want you to donate. No, like actual like boycotting, like I am not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to buy from you anymore. I don't even care, like, unless you change XYZ. Like, when they were boycotting the buses, like, for a whole year. Listen, they were not on the bus for a whole year. Pockets were hurt. Pockets were hurt, okay? And we know how influential Black people are. Like, we just know it. Like, I just feel like I feel like there should be more direction. Like, I feel like some people are like, what's the next stage? And like, for me as a Black person, like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Like, y'all are talking about it. Like, that's where you guys are like talking about it in terms of like white people who are uninformed. That's where you guys are. You just want to talk and learn. But I want change to be done. And that's why people are like, open your purse. And, actually, like, I'm not going to support you anymore monetarily. That's just where it is. And that's what I think would be the next step. Like in terms of like progressing this movement, to be like, I'm serious, like I am pro-Black. Like I am supporting Black people, like I care about Black people, Black lives matter. And that's just it. That's period.
Yes. Wow. I really enjoyed this. Well, before I say that, is there any other tips or information you would like to share?
Yeah, just be fearless. Like I think being like, because that's a mantra. It's on my vision board. It's in front of me. Like being fearless is incredible. It's like liberating. Like you just do anything. It's like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? And it's hard. Like it's not set in stone. Like I'm fearless all the time. Like every day, I have to like be like, okay, we're gonna be fearless today. Like, I'm gonna send this email, be fearless today. Yes, you have to be intentional, but it is liberating. So that's the only thing I would say. Yeah, keep the good fight. Also, don't worry. But yeah, that's the last. Can I say one thing? The first year, I worried a lot about things that could wait. There's always going to be time to worry. I worried about candidacy the first week I got in. Like, there's no need. There was no need. There's no need. I can worry now. There's so many times, like there's so much time to worry. Just don't worry about things that don't need to be worried about so far in advance. I think I would definitely say in like the first year of graduate school, just take it all in. Just take it all in, because the subsequent years, I think, are definitely going to be more serious. So yeah, don't worry until you need to worry.